Alright guys, just before we disconnect the battery so that the airbag doesn't just explode in our face and, just go on with the installation. This is what it looks side by side. I think this looks better. It feels so much better. I mean, I wish you guys could feel it, but yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is disconnect the battery so that the airbag doesn't blow up in our face when we're taking that off. So we are going to use a 10mm socket wrench and just loosen this thing up. Yeah, you just loosen it up a little bit, and then obviously you can just unscrew this nut. And then we can take this off. And great video I was watching, he just said to just screw this back on so you don't misplace it or lose it. So that's exactly what we're gonna do. And then we're gonna put that cable just on top of the battery cover and let it sit there. The next thing we're gonna do, since we disconnected the battery already, we are going to work on getting the airbag out. And basically, I'm just gonna use this tool, you can use whatever, to get in this hole on both sides and basically release the spring. So yeah, there's a hole on both sides. It's the same thing that we're going to be doing with the OEM steering wheel. So basically I'm going to use this thing to release this clip right here. So that's what's going to be going on in the inside. So same thing, like we have this little hole back here, right? So we put it through there, and basically, like in the OEM steering wheel, the airbag cover, whatever, is going to be there. So we just got to put enough pressure to pop this clip, remove this clip. You see what I'm doing? Alright, not gonna lie, that was, it took like 2 or 3 minutes, but it was really a pain. And somehow I literally got this thing stuck in here. This tool. Like, I think I got it, I don't know, I'm not even gonna recreate it, but I got it stuck. If you are doing this, I would really suggest whatever tool you use. Like, I ended up using this small star screwdriver because it's just super thin, so it was able to, you got to make sure it fits in the hole obviously, but I would suggest just practicing, like with whatever new steering wheel that you're putting on. You want to just practice whatever tool you're using. Let's say I'm using this, right? Like, you want to make sure that you can do whatever you can reach the clip, and make sure that you're angling it correctly too. Like, you might want to angle it towards the metal part, I guess, like of the actual steering wheel. So just practice on the new steering wheel, like first, like releasing the clip and making sure the tool is working as you want, and make sure you angle it correctly, because somehow, like, you can see how this tool is kind of designed, if it focuses, but it was getting stuck like right here. So that's one thing you gotta be careful of. I would just practice on the new steering wheel, so it's easy. You can just push it in, whatever, make things a lot easier. Real quick status update. So the first thing I disconnected was this thing, so it's plugged in. I just lifted up this red part a little bit, and then I held down here and then just took it off. And then these two orange things, I just used a trim tool. You should be able to use hopefully a small flathead too, but I just these were pushed down before, so I just popped them up. So then we should be able to unplug this as well.
A few minutes later.
Alright guys, just to show you real quick, I removed all the trim pieces and buttons off of the stock steering wheel, getting ready to put it on the new steering wheel. And you're gonna need a T20 Torx Bit to unscrew all these screws. So yeah, but you're gonna just reuse these trim pieces on the new steering wheel. Okay guys, so I'm gonna start installing the trim pieces on the new steering wheel. So you wanna start with one of these pieces, because this is one of the points is going to be tucked underneath the other trim piece. So let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to put this one in, and I put the screws here too, just to help align it better. And you're going to want to plug this in first. So let's do that first. Okay, so it's plugged in, and now we're gonna put the 2 screws in. I'm gonna leave a link in the description to the video I watched, because the dude was super helpful. So when you're putting this screw in, this is the one that's hidden underneath this. You want to be careful when you're screwing this down. This is what the dude mentioned in the video, because you're literally just screwing it on the plastic, so you don't want to over torque it and just end up breaking it. So when you're doing this one, you want to make sure it's tight, but don't go, you know, overboard with it. And then we're going to go down to this one. Yeah, this is why it's helpful to just keep them in place, just so you know where the screws are going. And I think these you can go a little tighter, because there's actually a built-in washer on this, so keep that in mind. And since we did that, we're gonna get the bezel on now. And first thing, obviously, you want to plug it in. Another thing, the dude I watched, he said to make sure that the alcantara or suede is tucked in underneath this trim piece, and then you want to make sure that this clip right here is also tucked under the plastic. I think he said the plastic should be easy to move, so I think the more important thing is making sure the alcantara is kind of tucked under this trim piece. Alright, there we go. That's tucked in nicely. The alcantara, this part, if you guys can see that, that part's tucked in right here. And then we also have the clip for this trim piece within here. So just this little clip piece right here. It's tucked in nicely. Looks good. And then now we are going to, it's already plugged in, so we're just going to put the screws in now. Alright, so we're good on this side, and then we're going to go back to this side. Again, we want to start off with the plastic piece. Make sure you plug it in first, obviously. That top screw, make sure you don't over torque that. Just want to be careful of that. Finally back to this bezel, or finally to this bezel. Alright, so we have all the buttons on the new steering wheel. So let's see how it looks on the edges. Everything looks tucked in properly. Fitment looks good. I'm pretty sure I plugged in everything. Let's hope I did. Yeah, everything looks good. So we'll see if everything's working on the car. Sorry guys, when I was taking off all the other trim pieces and putting it back on this new one, I forgot about this. I already took it off the old steering wheel, but this thing, you just want to take off the 2 screws. You can see 1, 2 right there, and then you want to pop it off. It is kind of set in place, so you're gonna have to put some pressure to pop it off, but it comes off. And then when you snap it back on too, you just kind of push down. Like this is without the screw, but it's already kind of tucked in nicely in here within the leather and all that. All right, everyone. So we are finally putting the steering wheel back on the car now, or putting the new steering wheel on the car now. So just one last check, making sure all the corners and stuff are tucked in and that everything is in place and not loose. Hopefully I plugged in everything correctly and I can still use all my buttons. But another thing to note, there's an arrow here on the steering wheel, so you want that to align with this little dot on that little dot at the top. You want to make sure that aligns with the arrow on the steering wheel, and then make sure you have the nut or bolt that you used before to mount the steering wheel. But we're gonna fish these. Get the steering wheel in place, and then the main thing to connect steering wheel to the car, I'm going to plug this back in. So let's do that. Alright, learn this lesson from me. I'm an idiot and didn't put this bolt, I don't know how I forgot, back on the steering wheel. So I popped this into place and I have to take it off again using the stupid spring thing. So learn a lesson from me, and please do not do that, because popping the spring is honestly really annoying. I got one side. Alright, cool. Alright, that wasn't too bad, luckily. But I do need to unplug all this again. Let's not be dumb this time. You need a 24mm socket, and then I'm just going to use the ratchet to tighten the bolt down. So the last thing we're doing, we're putting the airbag back on. So we want to reconnect all the stuff that we unclipped before. So first thing is this black thing, the clip, and then push the red thing back in. And then for these two, we have the yellow and the black, which is nice. It's color coded, so they both look yellow, but the tips are yellow and black. So we just want to align it with the yellow and black here. So that goes there, and then that goes there. And then I think we just, we want to make sure we align both of these plastic tabs to the spring mechanism that we were trying to release at the beginning. Or not steering wheel, but you know, the airbag or centerpiece. So yeah, we want to make sure it's aligned properly. Snap it back into place. Feels good.
It was at this moment that he knew. He f***ed up.
Wow, I'm an idiot.
A few minutes later.
Alright guys, we finally have installed the new steering wheel. So, looks good. Goes along with the shift knob a little, with the red. But the best thing is, just feels way better than the original steering wheel. So, yeah, we'll have to test out and see if I plugged in everything properly. So it's time to connect the battery.